Welcome back to another warm-up show with the hockey coach, Guru Coach Franchise, directly from the beautiful country of Thailand. And we have to go all the way to Toronto to find a co-host. Sit at home, waiting to talk about the 11 game NHL tonight on the program. Mr. ENORTAP back in the house.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. Busy night tonight.
Yeah, Thursday, March 30.
Yeah, very
2023.
busy. 11 games.
11 game on the program is on tap and looking great for this show tonight. We're going to see what we look like. I don't know.
Not looking good
anymore,
in predictions.
I don't know anymore.
Okay.
The only thing I know, Mr. Tap, the only thing I know.
We're not going to jail. He's on time. He's on time.
I think Mr. Tap, he got really bad meeting with his wife last night. He was late last night at the dinner, and she told him, "You cannot be late tonight," and he got it very well because he's the first one at the Hockey Nation at Show Mr. Zay. He is already right now at home, sit and waiting for the dinner, Mr. Tap. I'm talking about Mr. Dixon. Automotive Group is in the house.
Welcome, Dixon.
Sometimes we have the deal, sometimes we have no deal. So I think we know we have the real deal. Mr. Tap is back in the house. He expects to be David Levi between the pipe for the Buffalo Sabres tomorrow night. I can't wait to watch him. The born in Montreal, a 7th-round pick by the Florida Panthers, trade to the Buffalo Sabres for Sam Reinhart. I'm talking about David Levi for the Sabres, but we have the real deal in the house, Mr. Tap.
Welcome, real deal.
Moderada Luciano Graziano is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP.
Hello, Luciano.
Welcome back.
Oh, the big drum roll. Welcome, Luciano.
And we have a friend from Texas. He's going to tell us the Devil's going to win. At the end of the night, we're going to see the Devil losing again. But I'm talking about Mr. Joseph Laham is in the house tonight.
Hello, Joseph. Welcome.
From Finland, back in the house. He's lucky to not be at the jail, Mr. Tap. Mr. Yamo Vartanen is in the house.
How's it going, Yermo?
Oh, he's going to the Disneyland, Mr. Tap. I'm going to see the take and the girls to Disneyland on Monday, Mr. Tap. So he's going to be missing a show next week. Hopefully see him around. Take a picture with Minnie and Mickey and send us to us. You'll be a couple of, you're going to miss your white Nissan for the next couple of days, Mr. Tap. But we wish you the best. From Sweden, Mr. Tap, we have our friend Jerry knock the door.
How's it going, Jerry?
And from New Jersey, waiting to give us all the information we need, Mr. RJ Calabo is in the house.
Welcome, RJ.
And he's just back from the Price is Right program. He was once select to go there. He didn't win any absolute nothing. So that's the reason he does now the Sally Tavern. Mr. Danny T is in the house, Mr. Top.
That's why he does the Mustang Sally Tavern.
So that's what I've been about this one, Mr. Tap, for that. But tonight I have something special. You do all the prediction. You give us all the information about stat and everything like that. Tonight I create my ENORTAP greatness. I'll bring you some stat, what's going on around the league for 4 fun stat.
From 4, yeah.
I work on fun thing and I have no time to do 5. But,
Wow,
to do all the search on the fun website to pick up some number, everything. It takes a little bit longer. But I try to focusing on the team. One team don't do it well. And 3 teams are doing great. And the reason they're behind that, Mr. Tap.
Goalie.
I'm sharing with you at some point. About that, but we'll be interesting, so that's what we got so far, Mr. That's it. Oh, William Leclerc knocked the door, Mr.
Hey, William, welcome.
Well, like we start the show because we have 11 games tonight. So what got your attention last night? Only 3 games yesterday, but three different score. We talk about the Florida Panthers again the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Anyhow, the New York Islanders found a
Coach.
way to come back and with the W. This is a huge W. And finally, Minnesota beat the Colorado Avalanche. Minnesota, with that win yesterday, Minnesota, they go from 24% to 41% chance to win the Central Division with that W last night. And if
Of
you follow
course.
the history of Minnesota, wow, again, the Colorado Avalanche, the Minnesota are really a team completely beat Colorado always at the right time. Like they eliminate Minnesota, the Colorado Avalanche a couple of years ago, twice back to back. They always performing well. Again, the Colorado Avalanche, they did prove it last night. They got a big W. And I'm going to have my stat the next couple of minutes. I will tell you really why the Minnesota are dominate right now without Kaprizov.
Yeah, indeed. And yeah, that's going to be interesting to see because they're very much in the same boat as the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've had some rough luck getting out of the first round the last few years. So, I'm seeing a different Minnesota squad this year for sure. I didn't like what I was seeing at the beginning of the year because I thought defensively they seemed a little bit suspect. The goaltending really wasn't there. But how about the goaltending yesterday by Gustafsson? Just an amazing performance. I think he had 44, 45 saves, something like that. And really, that's the reason why Minnesota won that game more so than anything else. My question to you, coach, is game one in the playoffs. Do you start Fleury? Do you start Gustafsson?
I will start with Gustafson, and then I will be back with Fleury if we need it. About that, I will have no problem with that part. Because you always remember who carry on you at the right times on this, like the last 20 game and who is hot, everything like that. If Cousins finish season like
Exactly.
5-4-1, but you really dominate, you don't hesitate to send the Cubs as son over there, and you say, you know what, if we play home and he start and we losing, he have a bad first game or the first two game was not great. You have the veteran plaque back again. And I will not use Fleury again number four. I think Minnesota Wild, remember, they use Fleury the
Last
first
year.
three
Yeah.
game and then they bring that bat and a really bad situation. So they're a bit like
Yeah.
concerned about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I agree with your assessment. I would go with Gustafson as well. I think he's more than proven that at least he deserves that start.
Look
The
what
other
Williams said,
games,
Mr.
yeah,
Top. Point nine
yeah,
hundred 33 and 29.5 the last 34 games instead of feel real. Yeah.
that's surreal stats. Like just amazing how he's turned things around this year. Um, the other two games, well, both went to overtime. One was a shootout, one was in regular overtime. The Islanders, again, continue to impose on teams their way of playing the game, and that's to keep it very low scoring. Wait for your opportunity. When you get the chance, put the puck in the net, and once you get that 1-0, 2-1 lead, 3-2 at the most, just blanket the team. And it's you know what I know we have some very, very strong teams that are going to be ranked number one and two, namely Boston and possibly Carolina. But I don't know if I want to face the Islanders in the first round. It's not going to be an easy. It's not going to be an easy series for either one of those two teams.
Yeah, absolutely right about that. He took a goal of the two goal Bo Orvat and Palmieri and a shootout to get that W yesterday. At the end of the day, it's no matter how they did it. They got 2 points. That's the most important thing. Now they separate themselves with Pittsburgh and Florida. And that's for them.
Yeah,
99.9 Islander are in the playoff right now.
yeah, I would agree with that too. Yeah, and the last one, Coach, you did such a wonderful job last night. I want to leave this one to you about Florida and Toronto because you put it together so beautifully. I was in the background just laughing. I think Danny was fuming. So why don't you tell us what your thoughts about that game were?
Difficult, right? It's very difficult to see that, and
Yeah,
it's the same pattern every year. It's not changing a lot, and when you don't have that kind of the urgency to learning to what it takes to win game at the right time at the right moment, you have a chance right now, Toronto, to put down Florida Panthers at home and then eliminate them out of the race, everything like that, and then prepare your playoff. And you can see the same pattern yesterday. It's always one of the four. It's always only one or two. Again, check the the Chicago Cubs and then in the past,
yeah,
they always make a mistake or something happening to them where you don't expect during the game. Last night, McCabe were for the Panthers at some point for 6 seconds, and he gave the puck to his teammate for Lundell, and they scored. Like when you teach 101 hockey, Mr. Tap, never send the puck in front of the net. Like you cannot do that. And what he did, he sent the puck straight in front of the net. And you turn over, and Fleur took advantage to tie the game, Mr. Tap. It's just crazy when you think about that. Is that whatever they bring players, new new players in the lineup, it just is the same pattern every time. So um, not looking good. The only good news for them on the flip side in Tampa Bay is not better in the last 15, 20 game, right? It's not like the inconsistency is still there in Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay to be ready for the playoff, they need to win like I don't know, this 5 or the 7 game the remaining of the season. I'll be a little bit worried at Toronto Maple Leaf, but not looking good in Toronto right now, in my opinion, to set up the playoff.
yeah. The other thing that I'm having difficulty with is trying to establish, because what's happening is I'm noticing that with the excess amount of defensemen that they picked up at the trade deadline time, Keefe really has thrown in all sorts of different pairings. And one of the most important things to really get consistent and down pat before the playoffs is the pairings between defensemen. You can't keep taking this one out tonight and bringing in that one tomorrow night and then mixing up the matchups. Okay, tonight Riley will play with Lilligren or whatever the case might be. There has to be that consistency because those two defensemen that are on at the same time have to know each other like the back of their hand. And I'm not seeing that with the Leafs. And that's really worrisome because that's where the turnovers are created. And if your goalie can't bail you out and hide your mistakes, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second thing I always said to you, the great team, the team really wanting to, they find a way to hammer the team, the opponent team at the right time. When I said that, you lead 2-1, right? If you score the third goal, you completely change the momentum of the game. It's very hard for the team to come back. They did the same thing with the Montreal Canadiens. They lead 3-1 the playoff. They are one goal, they are overtime, and they lose after that both game. And then, so they never have that goal to can shut down the opponent team and eliminate them. Same thing with Tampa Bay last year. They miss one goal. It's always the miss one goal, and that's you need to get that goal. And then I think for me, it's not because they don't work hard. It's just they don't find that kind of chemistry. What it takes to play like a real really a great team in NHL. I think they don't have this in their DNA inside the locker room, obviously, and just carry on year after year. Like I said yesterday, an average student, he's happy, right? But you have better students, they are greatness and they are more 1 to 90%. They don't want seven. They're not happy with 80. They want 90, right? They want the targeting the 100. And that obviously that's Toronto is. Toronto win or they just lose by one goal, or we are just not necessarily that game's don't matter for us. Just start the thunder switch on when the playoffs start. Does not work that way. I always said me, yeah, the season start October 12th. We jump in the bus, and the bus go all the way to the
Yeah.
Stanley Cup. I'm not sure it's going to be the same passenger at the end of the year. But one thing I know, me as a head coach, I carry on you all the way to Stanley Cup. I need to believe this. I need to trust myself to carry on that message all the way. During the time, what we need to do, right? It's every day. Every day we're getting closer to the Stanley Cup. Every day. The practice, the off ice program, and everything together. And you want you try to build that kind of mindset to the players you have in front of you. They believe
Winning culture.
there's a culture right there. I remember one year I picked a team. I think it was a midget W or triple A, and the last 2 years that team never win nothing, like 2 W, and they was very bad, very bad. I took them. I told them at the beginning of the season, at the Christmas time, I bought my flight ticket to go to the national championship in San Jose. I showed them my ticket. I'm going there. I don't know if you're coming with me, but one thing I'm going there. Without you, I don't care. And that turned around, and then we went to the national state. It's just a game of mindset. If you want, you believe. That's what you believe. Martin saying what he does right now with Montreal Canadiens. So sorry about that.
Yeah,
Out of the subject,
absolutely.
Mr. Antap again. But three game yesterday. There's 3 star of the night, Mr. Antap. Goodrow, 2 goal, but 2 goal on the short and done empty. 2 goal and short and done, one of them an empty net to give the 4 goal for the Minnesota Lions. Goaltender for the Florida Panthers save
Who?
950. Gustafson 0.955 both goaltender. It's rare we have a start of the night. So what I did, Mr. Antap, it go with what you just mentioned to you, but I want to give you some stat. Are you ready? Because you'll be shocked. Here we go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Carolina Hurricane without Shevnikov, 4-4-1. The goal percentage at 5 versus 5, one is on the ice or one is the team, is 58%. Without him now, drop at 44%. Not done. The expected goal, 5 versus 5 with him is 61%. Without him, the team drop at 54. And the worst thing is a power play. They was the top 5 at 7.8 goal power play by 60 minutes, and that gave now drop at 1.4. This is the worst missing attack
Wow.
in NHL. So
Yeah.
sometimes an impact players make a big fun of the way they play team. On the flip side, Minnesota without Kaprizov, 7-1-2, but it's Boldy. Boldy pick up everything now under him. 11 goal in the last 11 game. His goal percentage per 60 minutes go from 0.85 to 1.57%. That's the reason why Minnesota is looking good. And without Kaprizov, they continue because the number 12, Matt Boldy, Mr. Tap, signed his contract 7 years, 7 point something, I believe. Get that one. I'm not done, Mr. Tap. One more to go. We talk about two different teams. And you have the reason why. Chris, a timid subscriber. Thanks so much, Mr. Chris. Thanks to
Welcome.
be a new
Welcome,
subscriber of the
Chris.
Hockey News Show. Sorokin, that one you talk all the time, Mr. Tap. He has right now save expected. Save expected. So the save he make is at 45.8%. This is the best
Wow.
since the season
Yeah.
2009, 2010. And do you know who was the number one in that year, Mr. Tap?
Probably, I'll take a guess. Price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Henrik Lundqvist.
Oh, Eric Lindquist. Okay.
There we go.
From the Rangers.
So just give you an idea, the net domination of Sorokin. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the year, it was my winner of the trophy Vizna. We'll see what's happening. And then, Mr. Tap, really interesting stuff for the Florida Panthers. And you can see I talk about Minnesota Islanders and the Florida. One, the boat center, Barkov Bennett is in the lineup. The Florida Panthers is 30, 18, and 4. The differential is plus 23. One, they are not in lineup. They're missing 23 games. One of the two them, right? They are missing a top 7, 13, and 3, and the differential is minus 21.
Interesting.
This is the season
Very
why the
interesting.
Florida missing a top struggle where they at right now. The underlining number, the Florida Panthers are really good, top 5 in the NHL. I just want to give you some kind of stat. I think it's fun when I do some kind of search. Coach is boring, so we had nothing to do. So he said, I'm going to do some kind of stat for you guys. So, but I just did Mr. ENORTAP greatness for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy more stat, Mr.
Yes.
ENORTAP.
Yes. Very interesting. Yes, indeed.
We're going to see what we have to do, Mr. Tap. Preview Montreal Canadian. First of all, Mr. Tap, let's see what we got here. We have a few people knock the door. So let's we have here. Mr. Claude Richard knocked the door, Mr. Tap. I'm behind. Wow, I lost that one. There, Claude Richard, welcome back in the house. Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Live Show. We have Randy N knocked the door. Thanks so much, Mr. Randy N is in the house. We have Yamo talking about the liver. We have many new events and chemistry. Way to go, don't get. No comments, but on Toronto, let's see game 83. I think anything can happen with this team, most likely gone on second round. I think that would be the same feeling for me, second round. Je vais au match des Canadiens de Montréal. M. Shongan said that Mr. Tap is going to go to Montreal Canadian. Congratulations, Mr. Shongan. And Willie Snyder knocked the door. And that's what we got. Joe Stalika, Mr. Tap, is in the house. Welcome back, Mr. Joe Stalika. Thanks, everybody, for the likes you gave to us tonight. And then Chicago Bear, Nick is in the house, Mr. Tap. Coach, are you streaming the Montreal Canadian game? With the Washington Capitals, but anyway, I'm going to the game. Awesome, congratulations. Yes, we do all the game for sure. And RJ continues performing here. I think it's Malik Barkov is out. Yeah, possible about that for sure. Mr. Barkov about that. Mr. Top, preview game Montreal Canadiens tonight. Montembeault return between the pipe for Montreal Canadiens. Farrell now play on the third line. And Kirby Dack is out for tonight, so he played with Gallagher and Jake Evans. Second line is going to be Jesse Allen beside Kuryanov and Drouin. Savard, game decision tonight, Mr. Tap. If not there, Chris Whiteman is going to be between back on the ice, and then RHP. New contract, Mr. Tap? Not yet, but do you know what I did yesterday? I think I did a very good video. If you're watching this, I update the news every single day at 11 o'clock. Now it's not 11 o'clock, Mr. Tap. I changed the time, 8 a.m. in the morning. I thought the extension of RHP, I consider him versus other players like Jake Evans 1.7, Lizat at 1.6, Trennen in Nashville, Tovenen with Seattle Kraken. I miss another players anyhow. I expect Montreal to give him a 2-year contract at $1.5 million or 3 years at $1.7 million. Dubois, I gave him an offer sheet at $6.4 million, and I tell you the reason why the Jets are going to be stuck, Mr. Tab. Do you know why?
Why?
What happened if you offer a sheet and you match the offer sheet? What's the rules?
If they match it, then you have to keep him for a year. You can't trade him. Is that correct?
Yeah, right. Exactly that one over there, Mr. Tap. I'm glad you're watching my video. Just kidding. But yeah, absolutely right.
I knew
so
that
you cannot
one.
trade him, so they cannot do anything about him. So that's a little bit the Jet or maybe a squeeze about that. If finally Kuryanov, this is the end of Kuryanov with the Montreal Canadiens. I consider him is going to be the end with the Montreal Canadiens. So this is the preview of the game, Mr. Tap. About
So
that, we
maybe
have
that's
few
the
people.
answer, Coach.
I'm sorry again.
What do you think? Maybe that's the answer then. I know it's not the gentlemanly thing to do to offer sheet another team, but I say you make an offer. If they don't like it, then after you offer sheet them after July 1st.
Yeah. If you want to squeeze the opponent team, right? So again, negotiate about this. You can looking about different thing. I think if I'm Montreal Canadian, the offer sheet at 6.4, you gave the first round pick 2024. I think, if you want to trade for Dubois, you give them something good in Jet and to be respected between both organizations. If you give them the Florida Panthers, the first round pick, right? And because it become a 17, 18, 19, that player must not have the chance to make it. It's rare. It's not like Currency is going to have a good year, a good long term with the Montreal Canadiens. So if you give that one and you give a B prospect or a Jordan Harris, who I just mentioned, like a William Trudeau, whatever is the defenseman you mentioned, but Norlander example, I think Norlander could be a good trade bait with a first round pick. That would be something they can go with Dubois if the Jet is there. For me, the Panthers trait, the trait of the pick of the Panthers is really reasonable deal for the Jet if they want Pierre-Luc Dubois. I don't say this is the best way, but I think the way to do that. If you go with second round pick and you put Harris together, it's not the judge will say no to them.
But still, it's a better offer than just
No,
offer
I would say
sheeting
to you,
somebody.
if I was the Jet, I would definitely trade Pierre-Luc Dubois to the New York Rangers or the Carolina Hurricane at the trade deadline and get something in return. Whatever the player don't go nowhere, the team would pay a lot at the trade deadline to get a player like him for like a rental players.
I don't know.
Every year
We'll
it's
see.
happening. Like
It's
check
gonna be an
about
interesting
Kavrikov,
stop.
what they get for Korpisalo and Kavrikov. Look what happened with all that. Look what happened with Timo Myers. And it's not everybody signed at the same thing. Look what happened with Kane, and look what they give to Tarasenko. Like every year, not everybody signed at the look. They don't sign. Look what they did for Claude Giroux. Look what happened with Ben Chariot last year.
Older players. That's what we're looking at here. Those are older players. You see,
Yeah,
with
but they pay.
with
They pay for that. They gave for Florida Panthers. They go all in. So you take only one team to go all in and to give them the first one pick because the first one pick is only the 29, 30, 31, 32. That's why you
yeah.
get a lot of trade at the trade deadline this year. They gave away the first one pick this year. Whatever the draft is pretty good. But I would not give the offer sheet for me because they gave a 2024 first one pick. And this is another top 10, and you're losing another solid players in return.
Okay. Just thought I'd throw
Anyhow,
it out there.
that's what we had tonight, Mr. Tap. Let's move on. We want to congratulate Peter August 3-0 yesterday. Congratulations, Peter August. I don't think so. We have a boss jet. We had 3 games, right, Mr. Tap?
No.
There we go.
That's it.
Congratulations, Yamo, on the flip side. About that. Do you have anything you want to add about that preview game on Trois Canadian? Do you have anything else you want to know?
It should be. I mean, we'll talk about it shortly, but it should be a very interesting game. I don't think it's one of those
Florida
cut and
Panthers
dry
destroyed the
games.
Montreal Canadiens for the first 3 games, Mr. Tap.
Right. So I don't think the Habs will necessarily just roll over and let them walk over them again. I think they have that in the back of their mind. It was the reason why probably we saw Primo playing last night and not tonight. And which goalie did Montreal put in? Their more consistent one tonight.
Exactly about that. We'll see interesting about that. And again, I don't say they should trade for the Dubois. I don't say they want. I never said Dubois should be in Montreal Canadiens. I just said how you can get Pierre Dubois. So I just want to be sure people don't get. Coach said they want Pierre Dubois. I'll be at the right time. For me, I always said Pierre Dubois have to show me again he can make those 75 points before you get him. But in the subject, anyhow, ça va look like
Yeah.
he's on the warm-up, Mr. Tap. President Certain participe. Oh, he participe at the warm-up. Mr. David Savard is on the warm-up, but not confirmed yet. He's going to be part of the game tonight. Anyhow, Mr. Tap, game number 1, the Columbus Blue Jacket against the Boston Bruins. I took Columbus 5-1, Mr. Tap. That's just kidding. Boston 6-1.
Yeah, why not? Sometimes I think at this time of the year, we have to start gambling on some of these picks, but this is not one to gamble with. We have a clash here of the NHL's best against the NHL's worst right now. So it's no surprise that they, that everybody will pretty much favor the Boston Bruins to come away with the victory here. Boston's on pace to set a NHL record for wins in a season with 63. So they still have that as a carrot in front of them to drive their production. They were just recently upset by the Predators on home ice. I think it was on Tuesday night, and they need to take advantage of the worst team in the league tonight. So I think they'll come out on fire. They did in the previous 2 meetings that they played them. Columbus has allowed the second most goals per game in the entire league, and the Bruins have scored the second most and allowed the fewest. So just based on that little recipe right there, it's not a winning one for Columbus, but it definitely is for Boston. I'm going with the Bruins 6-2. And it's also been confirmed Hutchinson against Allmark.
Yep. It is.
Yeah. So 6-2.
6-2, Mr. Tap.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we are close. 6-1, 6-2, Mr. Tap. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Le Fleur Panthers, Mr. Tap, again de Montreal Canadienne.
Yeah, and this is the interesting one to me tonight, or one of the interesting ones. The Canadians, they come into this game after they lost to the Flyers on Tuesday, 3-2, amidst all that controversy and stuff with Farrell, and of course Primo starting in that. Currently they find themselves, I think, in a decent position in terms of the lottery. They're in eighth place in the Atlantic. They're looking forward towards next season. I think St. Louis has done a good job in galvanizing the team. It looks like they're having fun out there, and they're buying into what St. Louis has got to sell here. But with the 24th best offense and the 29th best defense, the Canadians hope to um, hopefully score big in the lottery. Otherwise, it's going to take longer to rebuild this thing. Um, and if they can get a key fundamental player that will come in and change the orientation of this team, or maybe not change it, but just accelerate the whole process, then we're going to see some very exciting hockey over the next few years for sure. But I mean, we can't do anything about that now. It is what it is. We have to finish off the season here. As much as we want tanking, sometimes the players and the coaches don't want it. I don't think St. Louis wants that. I think last time they played Florida, they were thoroughly embarrassed by that. I forget what the score was, but it was something like
9-5.
9-5. Yeah. And so they're going to have that at the back of their minds to try to maybe regain some kind of revenge. But Florida, got a whole extra life last night at the hands of the Maple Leafs. I think they can now see the end of the line, and they're not that far off from Pittsburgh. And they know this is a team that they have to defeat. They're 7-0 the last 7 meetings, and I think they'll keep it going. But I could see this going to overtime as well as last night, Coach. But I'll go with Florida by a score of 4-3. But I could also see Montreal winning this either in a shootout or an overtime.
There we
But
go.
I'm going
Same
to
score
stick
we
to
have,
Florida.
Mr. Tap.
Same score?
Yep.
Beautiful. 4-3.
That's what we got
Okay,
tonight,
gotcha.
Mr. Tap. Game number 2. Game number 3 of the night, we have the Rangers Devils. Here we go. This is a tough one.
It's a tough one from perspectives, but I mean, it's also possibly, very possibly, a first round matchup here. And these two are pretty much neighbors of each other. They don't have to travel very far. Thursday night let me rephrase it. The Rangers, they make. I think that they've really put things together lately, and I like what I'm seeing from this team right now. They're solid from the back end all the way up to their 4 lines. It took a while to get that chemistry going after the trade deadline time. As a matter of fact, you might recall they were starting to do well, and they hit a nice little plateau, and then after the trade, they lost a few games, but it took time to get to where they are, and it looks like right now they're in a good position to continue doing what they have been doing so far. On the other end, I mean, you got to congratulate New Jersey for putting together an absolutely fantastic season, and I think that they have the talent; they can go very far. The problem is when I look at the back end, I see, especially tonight, it looks like it's Shesterkin against Vanacek,
Yep.
and I don't I don't see much of a competition here. I think Shesterkin is the heads above goaltender of the two. So I'm going to take the Rangers to win this one by a score of 3-2. And by the way, the Rangers are 7-2-1 the last 10 games against the New Jersey Devils.
That's the reason I took the Rangers 4-2, Mr. Tap.
Yeah.
But at the end of
But
the night, it doesn't matter. It's all
you like to
Rangers.
see New Jersey, sort of get out of that, like we were saying before, to build some kind of momentum going into the playoffs, because they haven't been playing. They haven't been playing poorly, but winning is the cure to everything for a team, and that's what gives you the confidence in most nights. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah,
Next game we
absolutely.
have Nashville and Pittsburgh. Absolutely critical.
Pittsburgh. I love it. I love it, Mr. Tap. Pittsburgh. This is
I
the team
I
this
hate
channel.
that team. I hate that team. What can I say? They always mess me up all the time. It's a cross conference matchup between these two. They both need the victory because they're both chasing a wild card. Right now, Pittsburgh's on the inside, just barely. Nashville's on the outside with one or two games in hand. That could make things interesting, but that's about the extent to where the similarities lie. Um, I think this is the final matchup of the season between these two. Pittsburgh, I believe, won the first meeting between the two. They've been a tough team to really gauge, especially recently, as they've been hugely inconsistent. Mainly, I think, because of their goaltending situation. They haven't gotten that consistency there, and neither from Jari nor DeSmith, and that makes them always tough to either bet for or against. For all the Penguins' shortcomings this season, like they have been a good team at home. They're 20-11-5, and they find themselves really in a must-win situation tonight to stay pace with what the Islanders did and also Florida last night. And you can rest assured they'll be looking at that Montreal game to see what's going on. Their offense is in a good spot too, because they've netted 3.6 goals over the last 10 games. On the flip side, the Predators have been, excuse me, average on the road all season, but they have a goal differential of -11 on the road. Final thing I'll say is Pittsburgh is 7-2-1 in the last 10 games between themselves and Nashville. So I always hate to say this, but I'll take Pittsburgh here begrudgingly by a score of 4-3.
3-2, Mr. Tap.
3-2. Okay, gotcha.
4-3, so 4-2.
I said, what did I say? 4-3.
Right.
Jari against Saros tonight.
Well, breaking news, Mr. Tap. Mr. Shongan is going to the game for the Montreal Canadiens
Yeah,
versus the Washington Capitals.
I saw that. Yeah, enjoy the game.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's a great play.
Yeah, for
Ottawa, Mr. Tap versus the Flyers, sir.
yeah. This is another one that it's going to be kind of strange because it could possibly go either way. Uh, I just found out that Sandstrom will be starting in net for Philadelphia, and for Ottawa, it hasn't been confirmed, but it looks like it's Sogard. It's an Eastern Conference clash between these two. Um, it looks like each team obviously is going to be missing the playoffs. Uh, you know, Captain Obvious moment there. But they're sort of on different trajectories at the moment. If you look at Ottawa, they have a good blend of veterans and youngsters with a lot of talent on this team. And I think Next year, that's going to be a team to really keep your eyes towards, because um, I can't see them doing what they've done the last 3 years, where they start off poorly and then make a little bit of a push at the end of the year just to fall short again. I think there's going to be that maturity in place. I think we're going to have new ownership here, possibly a new coach as well. So I expect, I'm very bullish on Ottawa for next year. In terms of this game right here, I'm going to take Ottawa to win this, because there's still, as much as it's mathematically difficult, there's still an opportunity for them to make some noise. And if by some reason Pittsburgh and Florida both lose tonight, it's a great opportunity for Ottawa to become relevant in this race. So I'm going to go with Ottawa by a score of 5-1.
5-1, Mr. Tap. Luciano said to you, 4-4-2. Ottawa are at home against the Flyers, Mr. Tap. That changed your mindset on that?
Nah, it's okay.
All right. So good try, Mr. Luciano, but does not work.
What did you take, Coach? Ottawa?
Me, I go 5-2, Mr. Tap.
Oh, 5-2. Okay.
5-2, Mr. Tap, about that one over there. It's if you don't know, but if you are the first of the 5,000 people pop up at the game tonight, you get a bobblehead. Nick Zuski, Mr. Tap. So if you want to put this on your connection, I can release you right now. You go to the game and get your bobblehead. We're working right now, Mr. Tap, to have your ENORTAP bobblehead
We
here
just
at the
got
Hockey
rid of some
International Show
bubble.
for the first 5 people.
I don't think we can afford it. Oh, so we got Washington and Tampa Bay here, two teams that really don't like each other a lot. The Lightning, they finally snapped their 4-game losing streak. I thought it was in an impressive fashion, with a shutout, and that was over the Hurricanes in Carolina on Tuesday. So now they return home after a long road trip and welcome the Capitals into town, who had a tough game against the Islanders last night and lost 2-1 in a shootout. So they had to play some extra time there. It's a back-to-back. I usually don't like to take a team that's been on the road for a period of time and then they come back home. That first game always tends to be a letdown for them. But I've got to take Tampa Bay tonight. I think that with Washington playing last night, and having to go to overtime as well, you're going to have some tired legs there. And Washington being as old as they are, yeah, I don't think that you want them to go the distance here. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay by a score of 4-2. And I sure hope that this does not go to another shootout. I do not want to see a 30-second shootout by Kuznetsov again, taking the opportunity there to try to score on a penalty shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
5-2, Mr. Tap, Tampa Bay.
Tampa 5-2.
And we welcome back the triplet West. W is in the house, Mr. Tap. Few people knocked the door. Melissa, one of them. Willie Snyder, I believe I saw him earlier. And don't forget, guys, to click on the like. If you don't mind, that'd be great. And we appreciate a lot. Mr. Tap, next game, the Carolina Hurricane, like I mentioned earlier, struggled a little bit versus the Detroit, where they surprised the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can they do the same thing to Carolina Hurricane tonight? I don't know. We're going to hear from what you think.
The quick answer is no. But actually, before I get into that, Coach, very quick question for you. On a penalty shot, or not a penalty shot, but a shootout, which is essentially a penalty shot. Given what Kuznetsov has been doing lately, do you think he's in his right to do that, in terms of taking as long as he wants to do that, or is it something that in the future maybe we should have a time clock and say you got 10 seconds? Boom. No. And that's part B to that question. Given that he does that, is the goalie allowed to come out and try to poke check them? Yeah.
He can poke check for sure. When he crossed the blue line, when he crossed the blue line, that's what the goaltender can get out of the crease.
When he
So
crosses the blue line. So he can come out and try to tackle, like
yes,
not tackle the player, but just try to come out
he can poke, he
aggressively.
can
So
dive in, he can do whatever he want. The goaltender.
because that would force him to pick up the puck a lot quicker,
But if
is
you
what
look
I'm
about
thinking.
his last 6 goals, every goaltender are in, and they are in the print, still in the print. So if you want to change this,
Yeah,
you have to go out more. Like go
exactly.
out more. Just go
Yeah,
out more and attack him. Like don't give a chance. Like I would play over my crease for him. So you have to release the puck more. He release the puck quicker, faster, but less chance have a goal. More you
yeah,
holding and the goalie go a bit backwards. Now you open up the hole left and right.
gotcha. Yeah, and I think we're going to see some goalie, if not this year, next year, take that approach.
Definitely.
Anyways, so the Carolina and Detroit game, the Hurricane need to use this game to sort of right their ship. Things haven't been going very well. You saw Coach talk about some of the stats with and without Svechnikov, which to me was not a surprise, those stats at all, because they don't have a lot of firepower up front. They have, one of the best and deepest teams in the league, without a doubt. But their one Achilles heel has always been offense. And with Pacioretty out and now Svechnikov out as well, they're going to be hard pressed to find where these goals are going to come from. Uh, Detroit, this team, they've taken quite a dive since that back-to-back series against the Ottawa Senators, where they lost both games and they lost convincingly, and that forced Eiserman's hand to really think, you know what, we've come a long way, which is great, but we still have a lot of work to do on this team. So you saw some trades being made, some acquisition of assets being made. So right now, this is a team now with Huso even out of the lineup for them, and Nedeljkovic in net. It's not looking good. So even though they are at home, Detroit, I'm going to take Carolina to finally put an end to their bad streak here and win by a score of 4-2.
For 3 Mr. Tap. All right. I think the first goaltender, Mr. Tap, is going to stop Kuznetsov is going to be Bennington.
No, he's going to drop his gloves.
Yeah, no, he's going to jump on him right away. He will not care about the goal, about the puck, Mr. Tap.
Yeah,
For
I
two
wouldn't
Mr.
be
Tap for me.
surprised. 4-2. Okay. 4-2 as well? Yeah, so we both
Yep.
have 4-2. Yeah.
And I can give you the
Okay.
next call. St. Louis win 3-2 against Chicago.
I think a little bit higher, Coach. I have 5-2 for St. Louis. Just because I think right now Chicago, first of all, they're starting Mrazek and not Stalock. So
Did you
that's
see
a
the?
bit
Did
of
you
a
see what he did? The goalie for Chicago gave the puck to opponent team.
no. I don't think I saw that.
At the last game, I think it was the last game that the goaltender Chicago just he want to send the puck to his teammate and he just he missed the puck at the puck. He just flipped the puck to the opponent player. I think it was Washington and empty net.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think I did see that on a highlight. Yeah, I believe I did. Interesting. You know what? St. Louis, they ranked 28th in the NHL in goals allowed per game. The Blackhawks ranked 25th. So those two stats alone tell you quite a bit about these two teams. Their problem has been keeping the puck out of their own net. The Blackhawks have been bad all season, and they're in jeopardy right now of losing their seventh straight game. St. Louis is seeking, some element of revenge after losing to the Hawks earlier back in January. So I expect the Blues to win this one, especially with Mrazek in net, by a score of 5-2.
Absolutely. 5-2, Mr. Tap.
Stay with the program, Coach.
All right. Because you talk about Chicago, so whoever, so who care? Who care about that game,
Who cares?
honestly? But I was
Let's go.
looking about
Let's
the
move
stat,
on.
Mister. I don't know what's going on with me. Um, what is the biggest stat or the biggest thing? And I need to go a little bit deeper, but I was thinking about this. The goal differential between Boston and New Jersey is 71. So the goal differential, so the Boston is 71 from the goal differential they have versus the second team in NHL. 71, Mr. Arta.
Yeah, 71
The
differential.
spread
Yeah,
between McDavid and the second one is about 27 points between McDavid and Tressello dominate, and he's going to maybe add 150 points. What's the biggest statement or what's the biggest stat? And I need to go deeper about the underlining and number, but or by McDavid. I did not do it right now, but do you consider the biggest thing is a goal differential between Boston, like the second team, like net domination, like no one close? Or you think Tressado, because 27 points on top, it's a lot as a top scorer in
it is.
NHL. It's not
Yeah,
like a 10 behind, it's 27.
yeah. I mean, right now, that Hart Trophy, you might as well just start engraving it because, and you could have done it about 3 or 4 months ago, because it belongs to one person only. The only thing that remains to be seen here is who finishes from spots 2 to 10 in that race. But you're right; it's total domination. We haven't seen this kind of domination since the Gretzky and Lemieux days, for sure. In terms of team differentials, goals for and goals against, no surprise there, coach, because if you look at the teams that are in the playoffs every year, the ones that are in have a positive
But my
goals
point, Mr.
for.
Top, is like 71. So from
That's a
Boston,
lot. Yeah,
it's 71 is really a big number. Goal
yeah,
differential, like they dominate completely 70 goal plus for anybody else. So I'm sorry about that. I'll just let it go
yeah,
about this. This is the game of the night, Mr. Hunter. We should talk about the King versus the
yeah.
Edmonton. This is game number 2 of the night. What could be the first round in the playoff?
It
We talk
could
about
it
the
could very
Rangers
well be.
Devils. This one.
And also, it could be that one of these two teams might win the division. It's not that out of the question. As a matter of fact, with the Oilers winning their last game, they made themselves relevant in that discussion. The Kings, they head to LA after that 2-1 defeat at the hands of the Flames. They're still in second place in the Pacific, and they continue to fight the Golden Knight for first place. They have with the fifth best offense in the league. I expect the Kings to show off some of that firepower again tonight against the Oilers, uh, who have given up at least 4 goals in 5 of their last 6 games. It's really been their offense that has bailed them out. The Oilers, they return home after a 7-4 win over Vegas, and that's why they're relevant in this conversation. They're in third place, but they're looking for more, and I think they see an opportunity, that if you can avoid LA in the first round, or possibly even Vegas, and play a weaker opponent as a wild card, at least it gives you one round of hope. And it hasn't been just McDavid and Draisaitl. We talked about this yesterday as well. Hyman has been quietly having his best season ever. Ryan Nugent Hopkins has been having the best season of his career. And that is the reason why, even when you can hold McDavid in the past, we used to say, you know what, if McDavid comes out with no points or just 1 point, and same thing with Draisaitl, we're going to win this game. You can't say that anymore. So I think this is going to be one heck of a game. And it's Corpusalo against Skinner. I think it's going to go to overtime, and I think the Edmonton Oilers will win this at home 4-3
5-4, Mr. Top.
for Edmonton.
Yep. Play at home.
Okay, next Anaheim and Seattle. Who cares? No, um, I think this has a potential to be an over game as well. Both teams are not boasting great defensive play as of late. The difference is both teams have been scoring as well. So the Anaheim Ducks are 2-6-2 in their last 10 games, but they've lost 5 in a row. And they're going to be without Troy Terry, I think, for the next few games. I think he's away for the birth of his first child or something like that.
Yep.
So, yeah, whatever happens with that, I don't think that they really at this stage care. But I'm gonna go with Seattle at home. Jones is confirmed. Gibson is likely. So I'm gonna go Seattle 5-4.
Oh, 5-4. There you go.
Yeah, it's gonna
Five
be a
to
high
two, Mr.
scoring
Atap
game.
for me. 5-2, Mr. Atap. Finally, the last game of the night, Mr. Atap. This is a game we said yesterday. You said Winnipeg cannot lose this game. This always said the same thing to you. Vegas cannot lose this game. It didn't want to finish second.
Well, the advantage is Vegas at least. I mean, if that game between LA and Edmonton can go to overtime and Vegas loses here, it'll really make an interesting final week of
Yes.
hockey, or a week and a half. But we'll see if that happens. Vegas, they traveled to San Jose. This is the 4th time this season. They're on top of the Pacific right now, and they can really clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight, while the Sharks, as we know, they're at the bottom of the standings and fighting for the first overall pick in the draft. But that doesn't always mean a lot, as Winnipeg found out the other night. The Sharks are 30th in goals against per game, and they really have very little firepower up front, except for the stellar production of their defenseman, Eric Carlson, this year, who's really had an outstanding year. But defensively leaves a little bit to be desired. Vegas is 8-1-1 the last 10 games against San Jose, and I don't think anything will change here. I'm going to take Vegas by a score of 5-2.
There we go, Mr. Atap. Conclude the show like I did. 5-2, Mr. Atap. We are on the same page on that one over there. 5-2 for Vegas. And that's conclude everything we have to know about this. We want to thank everybody in the chat for all your participation tonight. We have a lot of great comments from Yamo and RG with all the update. Really appreciate it for that one over there for sure. Mr. Atap, I just want to give you a couple of news here. Not that one. Maybe that one. Yep. The NHLPA announced that Martin Mowash is a new representative player for the association for the NHL. And then the finalists of the O.B. Baker Trophy, Nice, Coley, and Fantilli. So Montreal 02 with Hudson and Farrell, both of them are not in the finalists of this trophy. So I want to share with you about this. And before you leave, Mr. Anta, we want to remind you, what are you looking for tonight? I'm pretty sure you're going to tell us something special.
For me, it's that Edmonton and I.
What if I open my soul?
If for nothing else, by the way, Savard is out of the lineup tonight for Montreal, coach.
All right, confirmed. David Savard out of the lineup tonight. Feel like illness. You can see on the ice he was looking too much white. So that's happening about that one over there. So thanks for that last update, Mr. Atap. But before we leave, we want to remind everybody, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. He has greatness inside of him, like he did again to deliver 11 game prediction. We wish good luck for everybody. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like before you leave the building. Yes, sir, I'm going to get a banana and also a pineapple, and then I will be back for the game play-by-play, Mr. Atap, 7:05. Until then, of course, we want to remind everybody, one more thing. Be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of what, Mr. ENORTAP?
year 2023.
He did it again. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. I can't wait to see you tomorrow night with Mr. Tap, 6 o'clock p.m. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, Coach. Good night, Hockey Nation.